Hi folks, it's Chef Kevin. Today is the 23rd day of March 2020, and here in New York City we are practically prisoners of our houses because the government has ordered that everybody non-essential must stay home. You're allowed to do essentials like walking your dog, going grocery shopping, going to the pharmacy, going to the liquor store. The liquor store? Well, it is what it is. It's a very odd day today with that, and the weather is kind of weird. It's in the high 30s and it's drizzly, gloomy, and I think that's just the start of this whole new virus thing. But I'm not going to let it bum me out. I'm not going to let it drag me down. I'm going to keep my thoughts positive, and I'm going to keep my immune system up. And one of the ways I'm going to do that is by making chicken soup. Chicken soup is pretty much medicinal, and that's because it's a nice hot meal. It's comforting. There's quite a lot of health benefits from the garlic, the onions, and the other vegetables that go into the soup. And the chicken itself has bones in it, of course, and the bones have marrow and collagen. All these things come together, and it's very tasty, very healthy, and it's pretty easy. Okay, so basically you need two things for chicken soup. You need a chicken and you need water. That's it. But if you really want to make it tasty, you add aromatics. Aromatics make it tasty and gives it a nice aroma. I have garlic, healthy onion, Mexican oregano, dried mushrooms, carrots, celery, dried chili peppers, bay leaf, and I have some rosemary and thyme, salt and pepper. Let's get right into this because I'm hungry. Welcome back to Chef Kevin's Diner. I'm the executive chef and I'm also the busboy, so go figure. Okay, I have a nice little 4-pound Perdue chicken, and what I'm going to do, well, what I've already done is I took out the package of giblets. I saved that for my dog. They seem to like that. I washed it out, make sure there was no foreign matters attached to it. It's a nice clean bird. Smells nice. It's going right into my 12-quart pot, just like that. Oh, this is heavy. I have Poland Spring water, 3 quarts. I'm going to add that right into the pot. Cold water, cold chicken. I'm going to cover it completely. Need to add another quart or so. And the reason why you start out with cold water and cold chicken is because you do not want the impurities and the fat to go into the water. You don't want to make that soluble, because if you do, it becomes cloudy, and a cloudy soup is really not that attractive. You want to keep it nice and clean. So we're going to go ahead and start this. Bring it up to a near boil, but not a complete boil. This is probably going to take about 40 minutes or so on my cooktop here. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and add my vegetables. I'm going to go ahead and prep those and put them in. I'll show you how it's done. Don't go nowhere. Okay, I have prepped the vegetables. I have some celery and some carrots here. I actually bought these pre-washed, and I just cut them up roughly. This is a rough cut. This is not about presentation because all these are going to be taken from the soup. It's going to be strained out. I have a whole onion here, right in. I have a whole clove of garlic. I washed it, cut the top off. I'm going to go ahead and put that in. Garlic is good for you, skin and all. I have about 5 chili peppers. Of course, all these vegetables are optional. That just makes it a nice and hot, little heat. I have some rosemary, thyme, rosemary and thyme, a few bay leaves, Mexican oregano, not too much. I have some dried mushrooms. This will add a nice woodsy flavor. I also added about another 2 quarts of water, so a total of 5 quarts of water. I'm going to go ahead and add some black peppercorns. About 20 peppercorns perhaps. I'm not going to count them. I'm going to add about a tablespoon of sea salt. I don't want to add too much because I can always add later. Bam. Okay. This is going to take about 40 minutes or so to come to a near boil. That's what it's looking like. Gonna keep the lid off so it doesn't come to a boil too quickly. And the cook time is an hour. That's all you need. At that point the chicken will be fully cooked and all the flavor from the vegetables will have gone into the water. So you don't need to cook this forever. You're not making a stock, you're making a soup. Okay, so I'm going to leave this uncovered, let it come to a near boil, and then let it simmer for an hour. Alrighty, it's been 30 minutes and it's just starting to come to a simmer. And I tell you what, already this smells so good. The smell of those vegetables are really intense. Now I didn't put any turnips or parsnips or potatoes in here. I mean, you can do it the way you like, but when you add those vegetables, the starch makes the soup cloudy and of course starchy. So I'm trying to avoid overly starched foods. And I'm also going to be adding some pasta to the soup separately. I don't want to cook the pasta in the soup because, again, if you do that, you'll have an overabundance of starch that will leak from the pasta. So it's just starting to come to a simmer, and what I'm going to do is keep an eye on it, and I'm going to periodically skim the foam from the soup. And I have a little setup here where I have a big spoon, serving spoon, and I'll take the foam out and rinse it into a bowl. And these are the natural impurities, but you don't want natural impurities in your soup, so I'm withdrawing it. So I'm going to be doing this every 15-20 minutes, and in about an hour this will be ready for the next step, so don't go nowhere. Welcome back to Chef Kevin's Diner. We're open 24/7. All you have to do is click that button. Anyways, it's been an hour at a simmer, so the chicken is thoroughly cooked and all the vegetables have rendered their flavors into the water. So what I'm going to do now is take the chicken out, put it in a pot, bowl, and then I'm going to take this strainer and strain all the vegetables and solids out. Okay, the chicken is out. I'm going to let that cool down, and then I'm going to shred that up, and that's going to go back into the chicken broth. Now, technically speaking, this is a broth at this point because there are no solids in the liquid. This is a broth. When I add the chicken back into the broth, you have soup. So I tasted it. It's very nice. I'm going to make it stronger though. Right now there's about 6 quarts of broth in the container, in the stock pot. I'm going to reduce that, and when I reduce it, that'll make the flavor more concentrated. I took a little sample out here. I know it's very hard to tell on the camera, but first thing I want you to notice is the fact that it's dark. And that's due to all the vegetables that I put in there. I didn't put any food color in. And it's difficult to tell, but it's clear. It's not cloudy at all. It almost looks like a consommé, which you can make from the broth. But that's a whole nother video. Okay, I'm going to reduce this. I'm going to lower this by probably another quart, and that'll also give me time to cool the chicken down. I am going to bring this to a full boil at this point to make the water evaporate, and you're okay to do this now since the chicken is not in the pot at this point. And you have to take out the vegetables, otherwise if you overcook the vegetables it could become bitter. Just wanted to throw that in. Okay, I reduced this to about 5 quarts. As you can see, it's still steaming hot. And what I did is I placed it into a sink of ice and water. And this is very critical because you want to cool it off as quickly as possible so it doesn't get attacked by bacteria. This will be room temperature in about 20 minutes. I'm going to stir the broth occasionally, and that'll help cool it down. In the meantime, I'm going to shred up my chicken. Okay, after everything has been said and done, I have 2 pounds of chicken deboned and 4.5 quarts of healthy, delicious chicken broth. Now I'm going to make the soup. I'm going to cook some elbow pasta and combine that with the broth and the chicken to make a really, really nice soup. Very healthy soup. Now, I just want you to take a look at the bottom of this pot. And one of the things I do is I never fully drain the stock or the broth, because there may be bits and pieces of grit perhaps from the vegetables. So I always leave a little. This way you get a much cleaner product. So please join me for lunch at Chef Kevin's Diner. Alrighty, this is one of the 4.5 quarts of chicken broth that I made yesterday. I put it in the fridge, and as you can see, the fat has risen to the top and solidified. So I'm just going to spoon that off. Pretty easy to do. You can also use a paper towel, place it on the top and withdraw it, and that'll take the fat off as well. So what I'm going to do is make me a nice healthy chicken soup. First thing I'm going to do is heat up the broth. This broth is really good. I don't even drink coffee anymore. I'd rather have a cup of broth. I don't need the sugar in the milk. The broth is so much more invigorating. That 1 quart is going to make 2 servings. I have some diced red cabbage. This is one of the healthiest vegetables you can eat. I have about 6 ounces of chicken that was made with the stock, and I have some fresh dill, and I also have some yellow rice that I just made. So I'm going to go ahead and heat up my broth. I'm going to let that come to a boil, and then I'm going to add the red cabbage first and let that cook for about 2 minutes or so. It doesn't have to cook a lot. Really don't want to overcook vegetables, because then you lose the nutritional value that they have. Red cabbage is very crispy, so you do have to cook it at least for 2 minutes, and it'll still be fairly crunchy, but that's the way I like it. Okay, my cabbage has been boiling for about 2 minutes or so. I'm going to go ahead and add my diced chicken. This is about a cup. Going to add my yellow rice. It's about half a cup. The good thing about making your own food, especially during this time of the virus, is the fact that you know where the food has been because you cooked it. Right now in New York City, all the restaurants are closed except for takeout. Now, I'm not saying there's anything bad about takeout. I mean, I do it myself occasionally. But like I said, you know who made it, you know what's going on, you know it's clean. And this cost about $3 a serving, so it's also pretty inexpensive. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and garnish this, and then I'm going to consume it. Okay, folks, this is your homemade chicken soup by Chef Kevin. Going to garnish that with some dill. Dill goes very well with chicken, adds a nice little flavor, and you have a nice hot bowl of nutritional chicken soup. Believe me, this will get you through this whole virus thing. So thanks for watching, and stay healthy.